Well, it's definitely getting colder, I'll tell you that for free. A lot of the times on my calls, I'll tell people, like, you should really have more fun on your sales calls, and the more fun you have, chances are the better you'll be at selling. But a lot of people ask me, what actually do you mean by have more fun? How do you have fun on a sales call? Because predominantly, most people don't like doing sales and they don't like getting on sales calls. So in this video, I want to talk about my 5 ways that I have fun on sales calls and why I enjoy selling as much as I can. So one of the reasons I think people hate selling is because they get very stressed out by it, and they kind of put a lot of pressure on themselves, and they're worried that they have to be this really slick talking, have all the answers and really good with turning objections and stuff. And I'm constantly saying on my videos, just have fun with it, right? Sales is a game, running a business is a game. The more you enjoy it, the more you'll want to do it. And also, if you enjoy sales, you're more likely to make sales. That's kind of like one of the facts, partly because if you enjoy something, it means you'll want to do more of it. But also, if you enjoy something, you tend to get good at it. But how do you actually have fun at something which is predominantly based around fear and rejection and having people kind of yell at you and telling people no, or even worse, being completely ignored? And that's what I want to talk about in this video, is to how to have more fun while on your sales calls. So first of all, take the pressure off yourself by being silent. The more comfortable you are being silent, the easier you're going to find it to kind of have fun with the rest of the process. What we tend to find is a lot of people feel that they have to have the answers like straight away, and there's a lot of pressure on them to have an answer if someone asks an awkward question or has an objection or something like that. So if you get comfortable being quiet after you ask a question, and even if the customer asks a question, just give yourself a few seconds to think. Don't feel you have to have an answer straight away. And the more comfortable you are being silent, the more fun you'll have, because you take the pressure off having to have an answer immediately, and you give yourself a few minutes to think of a response that you find appropriate. And similarly, when you ask a question and the customer or prospect doesn't give an answer straight away, don't worry too much about that. Just get comfortable being quiet with them and allowing them the time and space to think until they give you an appropriate response as well. So the first point is get comfortable being quiet. The second thing is ask questions. Don't feel that you have to be giving answers all the time and be giving incredible advice, for every single step. If they've got questions, great. By all means, answer them as best you can, but don't feel you have to give answers. You're more than likely to make a better sale if you focus on asking questions and getting to know them better. Plus, people like talking about themselves, and if you ask them about them and their business, they're actually more likely to buy from you and your conversion rate will go up. So again, it's about taking the pressure off, and I find asking questions way more fun than giving advice anyway. So ask questions of the people that you're in a sales call with, and I promise you'll feel the pressure coming off, and you'll find that the back and forth is much easier as well. So the third thing that you need to do with your customers during a sales call, if you want to have fun, is agree with them. You can't reach an agreement if one of you disagrees. And this might sound insane, but when they say, you're really expensive, or, we've tried this before, it didn't work, agree with them. It really takes people by surprise. And also, you come across as less trying to, combat them, and it becomes clear that you're on the same side as them. One of the biggest reasons that people don't enjoy being sold to, or sales in general, is because they feel like the salesperson makes them feel stupid. Whereas if you agree with them and they say, man, but you're kind of expensive, you go, yeah, we are expensive, I agree. What isn't expensive? Anyway, sign here and we can get started today. So number 3 is start agreeing with people during your sales calls more. Number 4, how do you have more fun at anything? It's usually because of practice. The more time you spend practicing and going over these sales scripts and routines with friends, family, colleagues, testing out the same stuff like staying silent and asking questions, the more natural it's going to seem when you do this in front of a customer. So when you're doing this with someone, make sure that you've got a kind of like a test plan that you've gone through. Let's go. The more you practice it with friends and family and colleagues and run through these kind of examples like staying quiet, asking questions, the more likely you are to have a good time when you're doing it, because you're not having to think on your feet, it's more instinctual. So point number 4 is practice. As annoying as that sounds, the way that you have more fun with most things is by doing it enough times. You don't have to practice with customers, but practice the questions with colleagues, family, friends, or even just practice those staying silent and just getting into the habit of asking questions. So my 5th and final point on how to have more fun while making sales is a really weird one, and it's to complement their last purchase. So when I used to sell car hire to people, I always found that if I complimented the purchase that they'd made previously, I was more likely to make a sale. And apparently it's an old adage in car sales, like garages and stuff, that the fastest way to make a sale of someone of their new car is compliment them on how smart they were to buy their previous car. And the thinking goes that if you say to someone, oh, well, that previous car, my God, yeah, what a piece of shit that you bought. I can't believe you bought it. You're going to make them feel and look stupid. Whereas if you drive it and say, you really chose a great car here. You've obviously got fantastic taste, and you compliment their previous purchase, even if they made a wrong decision. For example, if a lot of people buy like SEO from poor SEO people, you go, oh man, that was a really smart thing to do. Yeah, SEO is huge. That's a really important thing to focus on. It kind of goes back to our 3rd point, which is about agreeing with them. But you'll find that you'll have a lot more fun when your customers see you as someone who isn't combative and as someone who's on the same team as them. So rather than trying to have a go at the competition or the previous purchase they've made, make them feel smart by saying, actually, what you did was a good decision. It just wasn't executed very well, but you made the right choice with the information you had at the time. So that's point number 5, is both agreeing with them and complimenting their previous purchases. Hey, if this video was useful, let me know by giving me a like and a share. That always helps me out when I know that I'm doing some decent work. Sorry, I'm walking my dog, by the way, if you couldn't tell, which is why I'm suddenly being pulled off to different directions while I'm recording this video. Yeah, if you liked what I was talking about there, let me know. If you think that any of these points are really interesting, you're going to try them out, let me know in the comments down below. But give me a share and a like, and in the meantime, or a subscribe if you're new to the channel. And in the meantime, I will speak to you later. Cheers, funnel builders. Keep building those funnels.